Thanks for joining us. I'm Alex Bell, and this is To the Point. On this election night, I have a question for you. How proud are you to be an American? A Gallup poll asked just this question, and just about 38% of U.S. adults say they are extremely proud to be an American. And this is the lowest number Gallup has seen in the last 20 years. They say some of the reasons are inflation, mass shootings, and overturning Roe v. Wade. So we wanted to bring the question back here to our area. Here's what some of you had to say. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I just turned 15.
You just turned 15?
Yes, just like 12 days ago.
Okay, so first question. Back in 1947, I'm just joking.
Oh, okay.
You were freaking out already. Okay, so what does being patriotic mean to you?
I feel like just having your own opinion with everything, like being able to say how you feel about all the politics in life and how you either love our country or how you dislike your country.
Being patriotic means to have a love for your country, but it doesn't only mean just love your country or where you were born. It also means to be a part of the community.
What does it mean to be patriotic in 2022?
With me, I feel like it's just saying how you feel and just want to be heard.
Feeling devotion and love towards your country. Just maybe people may give it a little bit more of a negative connotation sometimes because of things that have happened throughout history, but it's still important to feel proud of your country.
And why is it important to feel proud of your country?
Because it's a land of opportunities here. There's thousands of opportunities, and in many other places you don't have those same type of opportunities. My mom and my dad immigrated from Mexico to be here just to give me a better future.
Do you feel that patriotism is declining in America?
A little bit.
Why do you think that?
I actually asked a couple of my fellow classmates. They thought that what was happening, with the problems that are happening now in the United States, they didn't feel as proud to be an American. But I feel like there are many reasons to be proud because it's a land of opportunities,
Do you think patriotism in America is declining?
Yes.
Why do you think that?
A lot of people in my generation, we don't really learn about politics a lot. We aren't really involved as much as we should be. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know a lot, but that's also because we're not really taught a lot either, in my opinion.
So you feel if you were taught more, you'd be a little bit more engaged?
Yeah, 100%.
Some people say that younger generations are less patriotic. What would you say about that?
I agree with them because my generation, we're so open-minded about so many things and a lot of older generations aren't. So when we're so open-minded, they're so closed-minded when it's just nope, you can't think that. And it's just, so if we're not being heard, why would we keep going?
Do you think that people view the American flag differently than they did, say, 5 years ago?
Possibly, because we had a different president. It was a different country then. It changes every day. Politics changes all the time. It's more of just learning instead of just pushing on other people.
How do you feel about the American flag when you see the American flag being waved?
It makes me feel proud because that flag has been fought for a long time. Because an American, it's not just who was born here, but who fights for his nation, or not only fights, but also contributes. This is a nice quote by Kennedy. It's not what your country could do for you, but it's what you could do for your country. Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
That means that it's not only what the U.S. could give you, but also what you could contribute back, always help others, help your economy, your society, your community.
Waving the American flag is saluting our soldiers that fought for us. I have so many veterans in my family, and it's just a piece of America that we'll never get rid of.
I also wanted to ask, what do veterans think it means to be patriotic in 2022? So we decided to head out to Travis Air Force Base.
My husband was in the Air Force.
Retired Air Force, 24 years.
Prior Air Force.
What does it mean to be patriotic in 2022?
In the last several years, we've had a lot of turmoil in the country. And I think in 2022, to be patriotic is to remember that what binds us together is so much greater than what separates us. And there's people who would just dream to have the freedoms that we have here. Being patriotic can change with the times.
Do you feel that patriotism in America is declining?
I don't necessarily think that it's declining. I think it's just changing. People's thoughts on what patriotism is may be changing, so how they show their patriotism changes. But I honestly do believe people are patriotic.
So I don't think patriotism is really declining in America. I feel like the perception of patriotism may show a decline, but I think that in the hearts of Americans, I believe patriotism is still strong.
Do you think people view the American flag differently than they did 5 years ago? Everyone took a breath at the same time.
So that's a yes. I think they do, actually. The flag, the national anthem, those kind of things have been in the spotlight for quite a few years now. And I didn't think I was going to bring this up, but I am going to bring it up. And that's folks kneeling for the national anthem and the flying of the flag. So there is people that see things different, see it differently. And it's always been that way. We fight for freedoms.
Now, some people would say that the younger generations are less patriotic. What would you say to that? Do you agree or disagree?
I feel like with the younger generation now, the way they see the world is different. I don't believe that there's less patriotism. I think they've had less exposure to people talking about it, like when I was in school and growing up. But I think they still have a love for the country.
They can reach a lot of people in a very, very short amount of time. And while their voice might sound like it's disrespectful or careless, it's just them expressing their thoughts and their feelings the way they know how. And I think that's how it changed.
I think it's interesting, some of your responses, because I talked to some high school students, and they said that they do feel like a profound sense of responsibility to make the world a better place. Do you guys feel that as well?
I think every generation has that responsibility. And I'm glad that they feel that way.
That's something my son would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a senior right now. At such a young age, you know, they see so many different things that have been going on in the country and the world that they're impacted by it. I gotta hand it to the younger generation that, you know, they feel the sense of responsibility to want to make the country, the world a better place.
How do you feel about the American flag?
It stands for all of us. It stands for you. It stands for me. It does get me all choked up. Just because when we all see the American flag, a lot of us think the same things. The fabric that keeps us all together.
I felt the effect of the flag at my son's football games, and I had never seen such patriotism, seeing the people in the stands when it's time for the national anthem. The football players are all standing in the line. There's a certain part of the song where the football players raise their helmets, and every time I see that, it gets me all emotional.
If I'm on the battlefield and I can't see my brothers and sisters, but we can see the flag, we're together. I hope people understand that what we have here can't be taken for granted. It can't be overstated, the freedoms we have. It's a beacon of hope, and that's what the flag symbolizes.
Well, you heard what they had to say. Let me know what you think. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. And when we do come back, oh, there's Becca. Becca is live out in North Sacramento in the Del Paso Heights community for a peek at the after work voting rush. You still have time to go and vote if you want to. Make sure you swing by a voting center. We'll be right back. Election night is in full swing. Polls are about to be open for another hour and a half. So we have crews at voting centers all across our area. And Becca Habegger is live in North Sacramento's Del Paso Heights community. And nearly 200 voters have cast a ballot in person there today. Becca, how's it going? Also, I love the red, white, and blue. I see what you did there.
Thanks, Alex. Leaning into the election night color palette here. Yeah, things are great. I'm at the Greater Sacramento Urban League here in the Del Paso Heights community. Here, I just asked seconds ago, literally seconds ago, how many voters they have seen at this point. They said 191 in person, and that doesn't include the many more people who have dropped off their mail-in ballot here as well. You know, all in the weeks leading up to the elections, ABC 10 has been out in the community engaging with voters and potential voters. We've asked whether their voting and which barriers might keep them from voting. And experts in voter access and engagement tell us in-person voting locations are especially important for historically marginalized communities and young voters. I spoke with Tamara Walton, a voter who lives just down the street. Earlier today, she brought her 18-year-old daughter to vote for the first time. And when Walton voted, she brought her 5-year-old son with her. I asked her about the importance of bringing her kids to the polls.
People of color don't normally feel like their voices are heard, and I feel like we may not vote all the time. So I just want them to show them that it's important to vote, and even if it doesn't go the way that we wanted it to, just know that our opinion mattered and our vote counted.
If you are in the Del Paso Heights community or the Hagenwood area, you can still come here to the Greater Sacramento Urban League at the corner here. It's open till 8 o'clock, and you can do same-day registration. You can bring your mail-in ballot, drop that off here. The polls are open till 8 p.m., so still time to come vote. Alex?
All right, Becca, I'm happy to see you have your I Vote sticker today, so we can be matching now. Yep. All right. Thanks, Becca. All right. Stick around. We are next turning to a power outage. Of course, wet weather. We've been seeing a lot of rain and snow. And then we're also getting into some politics after the break. This evening, a power outage at Rio Americano High School is affecting voters. And Luke Cleary has been speaking with Sacramento County officials about the impact. He joins us now live from the county elections office. Luke, what do we know so far?
Well, what we know, Alex, is that every election year, workers face a different set of challenges. Yes, there was a power outage over at the Rio Americano voting place. They got an electrician back in, and power's back up as of about 5:54. There are always issues when it comes to elections. We're here in a room full of people finding ballots with problems on them, and here we find Andy Canellis, who is an election clerk. Talk to me about some of the issues that you see on ballots.
Well, we look for rips and tears like this, and
Red ink as well, that's another problem.
yes, red ink, the machine cannot pick up the red ink.
And the problem with these particular ballots is that they don't run through the machine, right? But
Correct.
they still get counted?
Yes, every ballot gets counted.
All right, Andy, thank you so much. And, there are many election workers here, the clerks here as well, doing this work. You talk to any of them, and they're really dedicated to that principle that every vote should count. Alex?
All right, Luke, thank you. Let's get things over to Monica. It's been raining and snowing. There was even a tornado today?
You're right about that. Yeah, near Gulf
man.
at 1:40 this afternoon. Here's the location just off of Highway 99, just off to the east on our road. So we had a barn roof blown off and bus windows blown out, winds at 70 miles per hour. That was an EF0 tornado. Again, the National Weather Service confirming that just a little while ago. Earlier this afternoon, we had a few pop-up thunderstorms even into this evening, as you can see, just off to the east of the northern San Joaquin Valley, moving into the mother lode, and eventually that moves up into the high country, where dangerous travel continues even through tonight. And the cold air is making its mark. Near whiteout conditions will continue through early tomorrow morning. Travel highly discouraged in the high country, with our winter storm warning continuing until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. These are early numbers coming in. 5 to almost 20 inches of snow for the Sierra, and for the valley, half an inch to over an inch of rain coming in. And that's just since midnight. That doesn't account for what we saw yesterday, an inch to almost 2 inches of rain for parts of the lower foothills. A look at our Gilmore backyard. We have variable cloud cover, winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Temperatures are going to be cool for tonight, but again, the showers are coming to an end. As you can see, most of that moisture pushing its way off to the east here. We'll see those lingering snow showers early tomorrow, and then everything starts to quiet down. For the valley, it's a cold start tomorrow, 48 degrees. Highs will only warm into the mid-50s. That is nearly 15 degrees below average. Patchy frost and fog back in our forecast as we head into our 10-day outlook. By Thursday and Friday, slight chance of some weekend showers, Alex.
All right, Monica, thanks. Every time election season comes around, the term Latino vote comes into play. But if the past few elections have taught us anything, it's that the Latino vote cannot be defined. And making up about a quarter of the population in our area, Latino voters hold a lot of power. So I'm joined by Dr. Cristina Flores Victor, who teaches political science at Sacramento State. Thank you so much for being here, on election night.
Of course, of course.
So some people say that there is no Latino vote, just Latino voters. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. Latinos as a group are an incredibly heterogeneous group of individuals, right? They have different experiences. They potentially come from different places, different religion, different culture, different languages, different generational status. They settle in different areas in the US. And all of those things impact their political beliefs, their political preferences, whether or not they want to engage civically. And so it's this pan-ethnic kind of identifier for the group, but individually they have such kind of different preferences for politics. So it does a little bit of a disservice to the group to kind of expect them to behave or to vote as a bloc.
Right. And in our outreach in the Latino community, we're constantly asked, why don't the candidates come to us? I mean, how would you answer that?
Well, one, that's true. Even in national surveys, I think a week ago, a poll done recently said that up to 50% of Latino voters say that not a single candidate or party or anyone had reached out to them during this
50%?
entire... Yes, 50%.
Wow.
And so, I mean, that's a failure on a couple of different levels. Why don't they reach out? You know, campaigns and candidates have finite resources. And so they tend to target who they think is going to be the most likely voter, who will turn out. So it's a little bit of a self-fulfilling cycle, right? They don't reach out to these voters, then they potentially don't turn out to vote, then they don't reach out to them again. And so it can be a little bit of it's a bit of a cycle, right?
You think Latino voters are undervalued?
Absolutely. I think that it's a little bit taken for granted that potentially they would vote for one party. They do tend to favor the Democratic Party. Anywhere from 80 to 60%, they tend to break in favor of the Democratic Party. So I think maybe people take for granted that if they do turn out, they might vote a certain way. And I think that maybe when people think of, maybe they don't know how to reach out to those voters, or maybe they haven't been successful in the past. I mean, I think there's a lot of issues potentially.
So what should outreach look like, and really what should candidates be doing, you know, on that ground level to really reach those voters?
Well, one, it needs to start before just the election season, right? So that work has to be done in district, year round, not just before the primaries or not just before general elections. Legitimate work means doing things in language, right? Having bilingual kind of people who do outreach. It means translating your resources. On the voter guide, there are candidates who have statements that are not even offered in English and in Spanish. It's a very simple thing to do. Offering your website, having events at places where Latinos go, right? Where they see this as a place that they feel comfortable and familiar. Having endorsements from Latino community organizations who actually work with people in the community that they trust. I mean, there's a lot of things that people could be doing but aren't.
Yeah. And how do you think that the relationship does stay open? Like you said, it's not just when elections are coming or they're here. You know, how do you keep that relationship going as a candidate?
The work has to be done in the district at all times, right? Thinking about what issues do Latino voters care about, you know, and engaging with them on those issues. Latino voters they care about more than just immigration, right? They care about the same issues that other people in the district care about. So kind of that year-round engagement, the kind of very bilingual, bicultural engagement, perhaps.
And always being in the community, like you said.
Always being in the community, and something that parties could do, maybe not individual candidates, but parties.
I'm so sorry, doctor. We have to head out right now, so I
that's
apologize.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, we'll be right back after this break. Election night is nearing a close, but there is still time to get out and vote, so make sure you're in line by 8 p.m. It is 6:57 right now. You still have time to vote. We will have live team coverage throughout the night right here on ABC 10 with, of course, a full recap coming at 11. If you have any questions, don't forget to text us 916-321-3310. See you tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.